Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Bootleg presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. I'm your host, Tom Kreager, with the Tennessean, bringing to you Team Tennessee to talk Blue Cross Bowl predictions. That's right. It's state championship week in Tennessee. We'll have 3 games Thursday, 3 games Friday, 3 games Saturday. All of them in Chattanooga at Finley Stadium. First time ever. So let's bring in Team Tennessee to talk 9 championship games. We're going to give you 9 games worth of predictions, and we'll see next week who was right and who was wrong. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. It's state championship week, the week that we'll all be very, very busy. We're going to make some predictions. We're going to just go Thursday, Friday, Saturday and go through them. A lot of games to talk about, 9 championship games in Tennessee. Yes, I am like you all. I don't know why we have 9 games, but that's how many classes they want to give out trophies for. Maybe in 2 years they'll add more to that for all we know. So let's dig right into it. Thursday, first game of the day. Game it's at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Emily knows we don't talk about Eastern Time, but this week we have to. So you got CPA 11-2. Playing Lipscomb Academy 11-1. They played in the regular season. CPA lost that game. I believe that was 38-0. A mercy rule game there, which was kind of incredible, knowing how great CPA has been this season. Let's start it right off the bat. Joe Spears here. Let's start with you, Joe. What do you have?
Yeah, I mean, this is a rematch of last year's championship game. It was a classic, really. I mean, CPA comes out on top of that one, and I know that left kind of a bad taste in Lipscomb Academy's mouth, and they've really played that way this year. And in that game, you saw it. I mean, Lipscomb Academy really didn't have any issues with CPA. I think this one's closer. I have Lipscomb Academy winning 42-24. I just think it's hard to make up 38 points in general, and Lipscomb Academy is not the kind of team you want to try to be doing that against. Junior Sherrill, I think he's going to have a big game for the Mustangs, and then obviously you look at Luther Richardson, Alex Broom. So I think Lipscomb Academy gets him this time.
Emily Adams in Knoxville at the Knoxville News Sentinel. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as Joe. I think Lipscomb wins this game almost for sure. I agree.
Almost for sure.
Hey, listen, you never know, but I'm pretty confident in this one. I haven't seen CPA play, but I have seen Lipscomb play, and I watched them absolutely demolish a Catholic team that was pretty good. So I have pretty high confidence in that pick.
Okay, do we got a score?
Yes, I have them at 36-24. So closer, but still a win.
Gerard Hamilton, what do you have from Jackson Sun?
Similar to Emily, 36-21 Lipscomb. I think Alex Broom, threat rushing the ball, threat receiving the ball. I think he has a big day, and I think Lipscomb gets this one.
Okay. George Robinson in Clarksville at the Leaf Chronicle, what do you have?
Yeah, I don't think there's any stopping Trent Dilfer's Mustangs this year. I mean, like Joe said, I mean, it was pretty much a blowout the first time. I don't see much changing. I mean, you have to assume that CPA is going to play better. They've already faced them once this year, so they know, they kind of know what to expect. But Lipscomb just has been on a tear. They really have, and I see it 28-7 Lipscomb Academy.
Okay. Darius Horton with the Columbia Daily Herald. What do you have?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as everybody else. For me, I have Lipscomb Academy 35, CPA 21. I agree. I think Alex Broom is going to have a day. It will be closer. CPA, like I said, has played them earliest. Hard to beat a team twice, but I think if anybody or if any team can beat somebody twice, I think it's Lipscomb Academy.
Okay, and finally, Cecil Joyce with the Daily News Journal. What you got?
Don't ever count out Engel Martin in a championship game. Now, having said that, I am counting them out on on Thursday, but a lot closer than the predictions ahead of me have said. I've got Lipscomb Academy winning 24-21. It'll be a barn burner right down to the wire, just like last year's game. I got to see both of those teams play Oakland this year, and both of them played Oakland fairly equally. They both had a chance to win the game at the end with goal line stands, and neither one of them pulled it off. It's the physicality of CPA versus just the skill positions of Lipscomb Academy, and it's just too many skill positions at Lipscomb to think they're going to lose this game. But I think it's going to be a great one, a close one.
Look, like Cecil said, you can't discount what CPA has done in the past with the Ingle Martin there as at coach. CPA is going to have to play a near perfect football game. I think they know it. I think their coaches know that. I mean, they're going to have to they can't play behind the sticks, and that's what happened the first time when they got routed there. They're not going to beat Lipscomb playing with bad penalties, and they've got to keep second and mid, third and short. They've got to move the football. I do think Lipscomb wins this game. I'm like Cecil. I think it is closer. I'm going Lipscomb Academy 28, CPA 20, and I think that'll be a really good game to start the show. Second game, 3 o'clock Eastern Time Central, or Eastern Time there for Emily. DCA 11-1 versus Nashville Christian 11-2. This is a rematch of a region championship game won by DCA at DCA in a very, very tight game. Joe Spears, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see that one too, and I'm kind of jealous. It was a defensive slugfest, that one. 7-3 DCA win, which is kind of shocking when you really look at what these teams have done offensively all year. DCA is averaging over 40 points per game. Nashville Christian, I think they're around the same. DCA really with one of the most impressive wins of the postseason with what they did at USJ 2 weeks ago. I think I've got DCA winning this game. I've got them winning 27-20. I think more points are scored in this one, but I think Bradford Gaines and Dayton Sneed have a really nice day. Nashville Christian, Josh Strickland's a great running back, but I think they're going to have to pass the ball, and I'm not sure they'll be able to do that as well.
Okay, next up, Emily, what you got?
My prediction is similar to Spears's, but going the opposite way. I think this time Nashville Christian pulls it out. I have them 17-14 beating CPA, or not CPA, DPA or DCA. But yeah, I think it's another defensive battle. A few more points on the board, but still, low scoring. And I think it falls the other way this time.
Emily got caught up in the Nashville alphabet schools.
They're all. I'm just jumbling them.
Trust me, you're not the first for that to happen. Gerard, what you got? DCA versus Nashville Christian Division II Single A Blue Cross Bowl.
I'm going with Nashville Christian. My original pick to, at the beginning of the playoffs was for USJ to win it all. And the way they handled USJ, I was kind of surprised at the beat down that it was. Still Haynes, he had a solid game, but I was told, it wasn't really, his usual game. They just got manhandled on both sides of the ball and just kept getting scored on. And so they really surprised me this postseason. I say they'll win. I think it'll be 27-23.
Okay, so that's Nashville Christian over DCA in the Division II Single A game. George Robinson, DCA, Nashville Christian. Who do you have?
Well, considering like Joe said, the first game was a defensive slugfest. I don't see much changing here. I do think they'll score a little bit more points, but Nashville Christian, I have Nashville Christian winning, and really just trying to control the clock and keep Donaldson Christian's offense off the field. And Joe mentioned Josh Strickland. I think the better they are at controlling the clock and sort of grinding DCA down, which is already difficult to do enough. But, Nashville Christian, I think, has the kind of team, to be able to do that. I think the better for Nashville Christian. So I have Nashville Christian winning this one and kind of exacting a little bit of revenge against DCA, 17-14.
Wow, we got some controversy. We got some changing some different picks. Darius Horton, what you have?
Yeah, for me, I have DCA taking this one. I picked that based like I want to say how Joe said earlier what they did to not Joe Gerard said what he did to USJ, which was one of my picks too as well to win this. But I have DCA winning 28, Nashville Christian 21.
Okay, Cecil Joyce.
I had DCA winning the state championship when the playoffs began. I'm sticking with that. I think it's going to be another low-scoring game, a little higher than last time. I've got DCA winning 21-13. And Emily, imagine how hard it might be with the alphabet schools covering PCA versus CPA in a game.
Or if PCA played DCA, even worse. Yeah. I think before the playoffs started, I think I picked Nashville Christian maybe to win this one. I'm going to go with DCA, and I think it's the reason why I changed my gears there is because of Bradford Gaines. I think he's throwing the ball better than he has all season long. Really threw the ball well in the I believe in that semifinal win there, and I think that carries over this week. I think the weather is going to be better. We had that kind of a really drizzly night when they played in the regular season there. Neither team really threw the ball well. I think he opens it up. I think Paul Wade gets a championship there at DCA to go with his state titles at Davidson Academy. And I'm saying this one's going to be 21-17 DCA over Nashville Christian. So that's my pick. D2 AAA. We're gonna have to speed this up a little bit. We'll be here till kickoff on Thursday. NBA 9-3 versus Macaulay 12-0. Of course, this is another region rematch. Macaulay won the first game, I believe, by 3. Joe Spears, let's get this thing going pretty quickly here.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Marcel Reed. I think NBA wins this game, though, because of its rushing attack. The Big Red are rushing for over 200 yards a game. I think they get revenge here. They beat Macaulay by 3 this time, 24-21.
Okay. Emily Adams.
I have Macaulay winning again by 3, 31-28. I think Macaulay's been here before. This will be, I believe, their third in a row. They know how to handle NBA, and I think they'll do it again.
Gerard Hamilton.
I think Macaulay gets that perfect season, gets the 3rd straight title. I think Will Riddle has a big day, and I think he has 3 touchdowns in the win, 27-20.
George Robinson.
I'm kind of in lockstep with Joe here. I think NBA is going to shock Macaulay, just from the standpoint of Macaulay's been, running roughshod over everybody this year. I have NBA winning 30-27.
Darius.
For me, I have Macaulay winning their 3rd straight. Based off experience alone, I have Macaulay by 1 point. It's going to be really, really close. I got Macaulay 28-27 over NBA.
Okay. Cecil?
I really wanted to pick NBA in this game because just like Ingle Martin, it's hard to pick against Marty Uverard in championship games. But I just don't think Macaulay will be denied. 28-21 Macaulay.
I think NBA is a team that was started 1-3. Some fans were not real happy with the way the program was going. I guess they didn't look at the fact that those losses came to a really sound, really good Pearl Cone team, a CPA team that's still playing this week, and of course to Macaulay. So they've turned things around. They've fixed some issues maybe on the front line, and they've found their identity. And I think that resonates in a win. I'm going to pick, it's one of my upsets with Joe. NBA 24, Macaulay 17, in what I think may be the best game of maybe the weekend. I think this is going to be a great game. Now turning to Friday, Class 3A, 11 a.m. Eastern time, the Gary Rankin Bowl, Alcoa versus East Nashville. Joe Spears, what do you have?
I just don't see Alcoa getting denied. I really like this East Nashville team. They're a great story. Alcoa is Alcoa, though, and I think I kind of picked Alcoa to win a close game last week. I'm a fool. I've got Alcoa winning this one 38-14.
Okay. Emily Adams.
Yeah, I'm on the same page there. I cannot imagine a world in which Alcoa loses this game. I think East Nashville will put up a fight. They might do better than we expect, but Gary Rankin is winning number 17 and number 7 in a row. I have the score 45 Alcoa, 20 East Nashville.
Gerard Hamilton.
I think Alcoa pulls it out again. I mean, we've had a few upsets this postseason, but I don't think this will be one of them where Alcoa does not get another title. I say it'll be 41-33 Alcoa.
I hope the defensive coordinator at Alcoa watches this bootleg, because he's going to be appalled by these scores, but knowing how dominant this defense has been. George Robinson.
Maybe he'll take solace in my score. I have Alcoa winning 35-14 over East Nashville. I love East Nashville. Their story, like Joe said, is great. But Gary Rankin probably he's got his PhD in how to coach high school football. So I just can't go against that. I got Alcoa winning this one.
Dr. Rankin. Darius, what do you have?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with everyone else. I have Alcoa 27, but I do have East Nashville putting up a fight 27-24. I think it'll be quick. I think it'll be interesting because this East Nashville defense is really, really quick and they can really fly to the ball. I think it's going to be close. And I think if Alcoa would lose to a team, I don't think it would be like a juggernaut. I think it would be like a team that nobody would expect to put up a fight. I think that's what this East Nashville teams bring, but I just think experience brings Alcoa through it.
Cecil.
I have to disagree slightly on that pick. 3 things: death, taxes, and Gary Rankin winning championships. His prize for winning another state championship is he gets to go to the Bahamas on December 17th and watch his son kick for MTSU. 41-13, Alcoa wins this game.
Emily, do you know who the defensive coordinator is at Alcoa? Is it Brian Nix?
It sure is.
Message him. Tell him to watch the bootleg. I think Alcoa, and I love East Nashville's story. I love what all Jamal Stewart has done. I love I told the story on Amari and Ford. This has nothing to do with them. This is a program that they have overcome a lot of adversity. This is a team that they don't have a practice field. They practice on the game field. They play on the game field. There's a lot of adversity that this program has to endure and get past. With that being said, Alcoa is going to roll in this game just because it's Alcoa, and we've said this all along. It's who's going to finish second to Alcoa this year, because Alcoa is Alcoa. Alcoa 49, East Nashville 7. Next game, 1A. McKenzie is playing South Pitt. Of course, McKenzie's 14-0, South Pitt 10-2. This is the 3:00 game on Friday. Joe Spears, what do you have?
Yeah, a couple of Class 1A Mr. Football finalists, and Marquez Taylor and DeAndre Kelly going at it in this one. I think this is going to be a great game. I mean, McKenzie got the win over a really good Peabody team in what looked like a really good game. I think McKenzie makes some history here. Their only state championship appearance, they lost to South Pitt. I think it was in 2007. I've got Marquez having a huge game, and they beat South Pitt 24-21.
Emily Adams, what do you have?
Yeah, Peabody was my pre-playoffs pick to win this game, and so I think McKenzie taking them out makes them automatically a favorite in my mind. I have the same as Spears. I think Marquez Taylor has a big game. I have McKenzie 35, South Pitt 21.
Gerard Hamilton.
Same thing with everybody else. I think McKenzie will win 37-24. Marquez Taylor has had a couple big games recently. I mean, he had 5 touchdowns last week, 3 rushing, 2 receiving. The week before that, versus Fayetteville, also defending champions, he scored the not go-ahead touchdown, but the touchdown to kind of put the game out of reach in the fourth quarter. I think he comes up big, and McKenzie gets their first state title.
Okay, George Robinson.
Has everybody picked McKenzie? So I guess
we don't cover South Pitt.
Maybe I'm way off here, but I have South Pitt winning 40-17. I think DeAndre Kelly's going to have a huge game, over 130 yards rushing and a couple of TDs. So I have South Pitt winning. I mean, they're traditional. They've been here before.
Darius, what you got?
Me, I have this being a really close game. I have McKenzie 28, South Pitt 27. I know last week South Pitt faced some adversity late in their game, but I think it's just going to be too much for McKenzie. And I think McKenzie's going to be too much for them, and they'll win the title.
Cecil Joyce.
I really like South Pitt. They played well against Oakland, for a 1A versus 6A matchup. But if you defeat the defending 1A and defending 2A state champions to get here, you've got my vote. I'm going McKenzie 35-27.
I'm like Cecil. I think they're battle tested. I think they're healthy for the most part. I think McKenzie wins this game 20-14 over South Pitt. Last game of Friday, it's Powell versus Page. Powell 12-2, Page 13-1. This is a game personally I think that they may wear out the scoreboard in this game. So Joe Spears, what do you have?
Yeah, if you want a good quarterback battle, this is probably going to be the best game of the weekend for you. I mean, Jordan Potts versus Jake McNamara. George saw firsthand just how good Jake McNamara is when he's at his best last week in that win over Henry County. I just think Powell has a few too many weapons on the offensive side of the ball that Page is going to have to deal with, especially over at the receivers. They got a couple of really nice guys, and then defensively, Walter Nolan. I say it's going to be a shootout, but I guess my score doesn't really reflect that. I've got Powell winning 28-24.
Emily Adams.
I'm actually done picking against Pal now. I have learned my lesson. They taught it to me last week at West. And this week I have them teaching it to Paige. I have Pal winning 31-14. The Pal defense is like on an unreal level right now. Obviously they have Walter Nolan and we expect that to be good, but they have 3 or 4 other guys around him who are all averaging similar levels of tackles. They have guys who can make interceptions consistently. That defense gave up 71 total offensive yards to West last week. I don't see anyone taking them out at this point.
Gerard, what do you have?
I agree with Emily. As far as Powell's defense, I mean, holding a team to 71 yards this deep into the playoffs, I mean, that combined with having a 5-star prospect in Nolan, who I think he will at least get 2 sacks. I think that will help Powell get the win, get their first state title, 32-17.
George Robinson.
Well, like Joe said, I've seen Page the past 2 weeks, actually. This one was a difficult one for me to kind of pick because I know Powell is so good. But I don't know if maybe, Jake's brother, Cade, and the Michigan beating Ohio State has me kind of seeing stars or whatever. But I'm going to pick the upset here, and I'm going to go with Page 45-41 with Jake McNamara throwing for 4 touchdowns and shocking that powerful Powell defense. So Jake better not let me down.
Hey, Darius, what you got?
Okay, so for me, I have Powell taking this one 36-21 over Page. I agree. I think the Powell defense, obviously Walter Nolan had, last week 7 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. It was, I rarely even see anything like that, like just that dominant. But like Emily said, people around him are averaging kind of like the same amount of numbers. So I think they'll just try to get to McNamara in the backfield. So I think it will be a fun shootout too, just like how Joe alluded to earlier, with Jordan Potts and McNamara quarterback.
Okay, Cecil, what you got?
I'll make this pretty quick. I have Powell winning 32-28. When you beat Knoxville West as bad as they did last week, you convinced me.
I pick Powell 48-42 in a shootout. I think this is probably the game outside of that last game tomorrow night. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Outside of that game, this is probably the game I'm looking forward to the most, mainly because to me it's Jake McNamara versus Jordan Potts. I think that's 2 of the best quarterbacks in these championships are going to be facing off in that, and we have some great quarterbacks with Luther Richardson at Lipscomb and Marcel Reed at NBA, and even the Buckles kid at Alcoa is pretty dang good as well. But this is, Destin Way too. I can't forget him. I guess I consider him more of an athlete. But I just think this is going to be two gunslingers out there just throwing the ball all over the place, and I'm all for it. So, but I think Powell wins this game 48-42. Moving to Saturday again, we're pressed with time. We don't want this to go up until Thursday's kickoff. So let's go 4A, and that's the first game. That's 11 a.m. Eastern time, of course. Just so Emily knows that it is her time. Tullahoma versus Elizabethton. Joe Spears, what you got?
Yeah, in Elizabethton's 2-year run, they haven't faced a team that can pass the ball like Tullahoma. I think Ryan Scott's the difference in this one. He leads Tullahoma on a game-winning drive in the last couple minutes, and the Wildcats get their first championship with a 24-23 win.
Emily?
I have a pretty similar score. I have 24-21 with Elizabethton pulling it out. I thought Greenville was 100% winning this title, and when Elizabethton took them out, Elizabethton had my vote no matter what. I think, behind Bryson Rollins, he's been playing out of his mind recently, putting up triple digits, both rushing and passing every single game. I think they're going to eke this one out in a down to the wire.
Gerard Hamilton.
I think Tullahoma pulls this one out. I think the score will be fairly close. I think it'll be 28-24. I mean, they've won all their games. Prior to this one, they've won all their games by at least 2 scores, beating Haywood, which is something I didn't expect, especially being down 16-7 through a quarter and a half. Did not expect them to go on a 37-3 run and close them out like that, so I got Tullahoma.
George?
Major props to Tullahoma because they played in a region that I think had 4 teams that were ranked at one point. Tullahoma's battle tested, but I feel like Elizabethton has just too many weapons, and Emily alluded to Bryson Rollins, who's just been playing terrific. He also can throw to Jake Roberts, who has over 1,000 yards receiving, and they got a running back who has almost 1,000 yards rushing. In addition to Bryson Rollins having over around 1,400 yards rushing. So I mean, that's a lot of offense, and that's a lot for Tullahoma to deal with. So I have Elizabethton winning 38-31.
Darius?
I have Elizabethton winning 28, Tullahoma 21. I agree with everybody else. Bryson Rollins has been, playing really, really well. But kind of like what George said too, they have a lot of weapons, and both teams have been playing really good defense as well. But I agree. I just think it's just too many weapons, and I think Elizabethton will pull it out.
And Cecil Joyce?
Sean Witten has his team playing at a championship level late in the season. The win over Greenville indicates that. This is going to be a defensive war. I've got Elizabethton winning 21-16.
And, of course, Sean Witten is the brother of Jason Witten, Cowboys tight end there. So I've got Tullahoma finding a way to win this game 35-21. Hey, look, Elizabethton is won the last 2 4A titles. Before that, it was Greenville winning 2 straight. Someone in Middle Tennessee it's time for someone else to win a state title from a different part of the state in 4A. So why not now? John Olive, he's been there forever. He's got Tullahoma there in the state championship game for the first time in school history. So I'm going with Tullahoma in this game. I'm officially on the Tullahoma bandwagon, which they'll probably throw me off as many times as I pick to get them against Pearl. So 2A, Hampton versus Westview. That's your 3 o'clock. Emily, that's Eastern time. Hampton versus Westview. Joe Spears, what you got?
Ty Simpson. That's all you really need to know about this one. Ty Simpson's going to have a monster into his incredible senior season. Westview wins 35-17, winning their first state title since 2001, or is it their first overall draw?
Yeah, first. It's their second title win. It'll be their first appearance since 01.
And that's 2 references to Ty Simpson. We're going to keep track in this segment how many times we say that word. So I guess that's 3. So Emily, what you got?
I'm going to say it again. Ty Simpson is leading Westview to a 42-17 victory over Hampton. I don't think Hampton has anything that can shut him down.
Gerard, can you give me a prediction without mentioning that guy's name?
It'll be 38-14 because of number 6. No, he played really well last week, and we learned that he had, kind of a stomach issue. And the second half, he came out firing at one point, scoring. He had 3 consecutive touchdowns on 3 pass plays. So, and that's when he was, feeling under the weather. So, I think Westview gets it.
George Robinson.
Well, I mean, Gerard mentioned his, flu game, I guess it was. Yeah, Ty Simpson. I mean, that's all you need to know. Westview 45, Hampton 10.
Okay. And Darius?
The Alabama commit will throw for over 200 yards. I have I have Westview taking this one 32-18, and also don't sleep on his legs either. He cannot. Last week he had 99 yards on the ground, so yeah, he's gonna have his way.
And Cecil?
I'm just gonna say Cy Timpson, just to be different. I've got Westview winning 38-24.
All right, here's the deal, folks. I'm going to say his name. Ty Simpson, this is like the storybook ending for a senior year that's been just incredible to watch. And then think about this. His dad, Jason Simpson, is the the UT Martin football coach there. So they're in Martin. So you're going to have UT Martin playing in a second-round FCS playoff game and Ty playing in a state championship game right about the same time on Saturday. So it's going to be one heck of a game there. Big day for the Simpson family and of course for the whole Westview community. Not only the big high school game, but also a big college game. Of course, the UTM president has got a kid on the Westview team, I believe, as well. So it's just a big night, big day for UTM and Westview. And I'm picking Westview to win this game 28-10. And over Hampton, so it'd be a great win there. So last game, Oakland battling Summit. 2 teams, 14-0. That's a 7:00 start. We know what time zone we're already in. This is the game I think we're all been waiting on. Joe Spears, what do you have?
Yeah, I mean, if you want big names, this is the game. Destin Wade, Keaton Wade, Jordan James. But I think the kid that's going to have the biggest difference in this game is going to be Isaiah Horton. I got him making a play late. I've got him making a play late, putting Oakland in field goal territory, and they kick a game-winning field goal to beat Summit 31-28 in what might probably be the best game of the weekend.
Emily Adams.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be back and forth, but Oakland convinced me against Maryville last week. Not that game was a blowout, but it really wasn't terribly close. They handled Maryville pretty well. And so I don't see this game being terribly different. I have Oakland 27, Summit 21.
Gerard, what you got?
Got Summit 34-28. I just think that the Wades are they've been doing a lot of work. I read your story on them. They're a great pair, and I think they're gonna Destin Wade is gonna account for 3 touchdowns, and I think Summit repeats.
George.
Well, I have Destin Wade accounting for 4 touchdowns. There's no shocker there. I mean, he's a machine. But I do think Oakland's going to pull this one out, and I think it's going to be like an instant classic type game. Like you said, everybody's looking forward to it. Both teams are looking forward to it. Anybody who's a high school football fan is looking forward to this game. So it's going to be a big one. But I have Oakland winning 28-27.
And where are the Wades going again, George?
I don't want to say. That hurt too because Kentucky just got through thrashing Louisville. So I appreciate that. How's Indiana doing, by the way?
We're ready for play basketball. That's all I gotta say.
Right.
Darius, what do you got? Let's see how I change the subject real quick. We're gonna mute George.
This is like I said, what Joe said, it's gonna be an instant classic. I think this game will go to overtime. In my opinion, I think what will happen is that Oakland will get the ball, but Keaton Wade makes a play, forces Oakland to punt. Destin Wade marches down the field, and I think I have the same score as Gerard. Oakland, I mean, not Oakland, Summit 34, Oakland 28, overtime.
Cecil Joyce.
This will be the game of the weekend. I know there's going to be a lot of great games. There's already a lot of great matches. This is the game to watch. It will go down to the wire. Summit is so hard to stop offensively, but they have not played a defense even in the same neighborhood as Oakland's this year. I think that's going to be a little bit of shock to their system. They're still going to put up some points, but Oakland's been there. Oakland's played some really tough teams this year. They know how to win close games. 27-24 Oakland, and on a game-winning field goal. I was at Avery Rogers. That will be the field goal kicker's name, since we're mentioning field goals.
I was going to ask you about that. Hey, I'm a big fan of what Summit's done all year. You know that. I mean, everyone thinks I'm going to pick against Oakland and all that stuff, so I don't even know if you want to hear my prediction, to be honest with y'all. Summit has played well, but I tell you what, I thought they looked better in early in the season than maybe at the end of the season. The last couple times I've seen them, I mean, maybe it's because it's just playoffs and they're not showing as much. I'm gonna go against the trend, and I'm gonna make some people upset in Murfreesboro that keeps telling me to pick against them. I'm gonna go Oakland 38-28, and again, that's just what I've seen in the postseason. I think Summit hasn't played as well, and maybe they'll use this as motivation. I don't know. I don't know if anyone's even gonna care about my prediction. So I'm gonna go Oakland 38, Summit 28, back-to-back games, and no one mentioned it, but heck, you've got Oakland having won 29 straight games. I think you've got Summit has won 25 straight games. So, I mean, that's just something to watch there with what they've done the last couple years. So looking forward to another great game. That's our predictions. We're a little over. I appreciate you listening. And, of course, all of us will have all of our coverage. Emily Adams will be covering Powell and Alcoa. Gerard will have Westview and McKenzie. Cecil will be there with Oakland. Joe, you and I were there for the duration. 7 out of the 10 teams are from Nashville area. The only 2 games we don't have is the 1A and 2A, so we do get a little bit of a break. Make sure you read us online, please, and we'll see you next week where we recap the Blue Cross Bowl championship games. Until then, you've been watching the Bootleg presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans.